Mission.
Hi, this is Joel Persinger. I'm the Gun Guy. Thank you very much for all of your support of GunGuyTV. As a matter of fact, I made a video just the other day talking about Google's changes in policy where monetizing videos is concerned, and since then I've had a number of people decide to contribute financially for GunGuyTV. I was really shocked and incredibly pleasantly surprised. I'm very grateful for your contribution, whether that's something that you did as a one-time thing or whether you joined us on Patreon or whatever. I'm very grateful for what you did. Thank you very much. It does help my wife and I keep this going. I've had a number of people call this a hobby. It's not a hobby for me. We're trying like crazy to keep people informed and educate people where needed to be and support our Second Amendment and keep our Constitution and save our country. This is not a hobby. I got plenty of hobbies, and this isn't one of them. This is a passion that we fund, and we're going to continue to do so whether anybody helps or not. But let me tell you, your help is huge, and it does help us fund the effort. So I don't want you to think this is a hobby of mine. I got lots of hobbies. Playing my guitar is one, hunting is another, and so on. This is a passion of my sons and mine, and this is why we do this. So thank you very much for all of your help. I really appreciate it. By the way, if you hear the noise in the background, that's the air conditioner. I'm in the shop today. This is part of my shop. We've turned into a studio, but it gets really hot under all these lights, and so I've got the AC running in the background. All right, this video is about armor, which is why I've got so much of it here. Before I do start, I want to make sure that I remind you that we are not prisoners of YouTube anymore. You can find us on all of these platforms as well. I do urge you to subscribe to at least one, because YouTube being what it is, you never know, we could disappear tomorrow. I also suggest you check out the GunGuyTV audio podcast that comes out on the 5th and the 20th of every month. And that is available on any of your favorite podcast players. I just found out yesterday we made iHeartRadio. So that's awesome. We're on the iHeartRadio podcast app as well as Spotify and Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts and other places. So check it out. It's the GunGuyTV audio podcast. It's available on the 5th and the 20th. And we do put a video version on all the video platforms I mentioned before. All right, body armor. The reason I'm bringing up body armor here, and you can see I got a lot of it piled up on my table here on my workbench, is that right now there's apparently going to be a push by Senator Senator Chuck Schumer to ban or regulate body armor. Excuse me, a little coffee is needed here. Yes, Black Rifle coffee. That is what I drink, just so that you know. No, they're not a sponsor. I just want to support them. But anyway, he wants to ban this or make it difficult for civilians to get, and I want to explain why I think civilians need body armor. And so I busted out a bunch of body armor that we have so that you can see that. Now I'm going to start off with the obvious professional need for it, then I'll talk about maybe the less obvious need for it briefly with regard to things that might be very debatable for people. They might say, well, that's nuts. Okay, and then we'll get into the why you need it as a mom or a dad or your kids need it or whatever, or why you need it because you work in an office building and the type of armor we're talking about. So first of all, we'll talk about vests. This is a traditional type of professional vest. This is my 511. Actually, I take it back. This is my second chance vest that I wore for many years professionally, and it is a level 3A soft body armor with a plate in it, ceramic plate in it. When you put the plate in it, then it's level 4. I didn't always put the plates in it because it's heavy and bulky, but depending on what I was doing, sometimes I did. As you may or may not know, I was a bail bondsman for a period of time, and I, in addition to writing bail and bailing people out of jail, I also had to find people at FTA, people that failed to appear. Some of those were violent felons, and when we went to go get them, we always did it in plain clothes, because you don't want to look too obvious if you can help it, and see if you can talk them into it. But I wore body armor because those folks, sometimes they will shoot at you. When I've had knives pulled on me, I've had guns pointed at me and so on. It's always more comfortable, if it's ever comfortable, when you have body armor. So this is an old vest. After about 5 years, their warranty expires, and if you're smart, you go get another one. So this is a real old one. I've got all the old ones laying around. Let me put this over here. This is actually a newer vest. I got this not long ago because, again, in addition to bail bonds, we also owned a security guard company that provided security for a host of different things. Primarily, we did executive protection. We did a lot of that, and VIP protection for folks who had received a lot of threats. We did a lot of employee hostile termination work where I actually would get hired to be at a company and pretend that I worked there for a week or so after they fired somebody that they felt was volatile or dangerous, and I would be there to keep these people safe in case that individual came up back and wanted to shoot up the office, and that's the kind of security we did. Obviously, I wore a vest for those things even while I was pretending to be one of the guys on the loading dock or whatever my job was at the company at the time. And then we had uniformed people who would do explosives detection with canine teams and sometimes narcotics detection. We didn't do a lot of that. We did a lot of explosives detection work with canines. And we sold all those accounts. We don't have the company anymore, but I wanted to make sure I always had a vest, so I always kept a new one. This is my latest vest. This one also has level 3A soft body armor, and then it has ceramic plates in it which make it level 4, so it'll stop rifle rounds. So that you know, the soft body armor will stop pistol rounds but not rifle. The combination, and once you add a plate, whether it's a combination plate that requires the soft body armor behind it to reach level 4, or it's a level 4 steel plate, that's going to stop rifle rounds. So this will stop rifle rounds up to 308, 30-06, and some armor piercing rounds. So that's what this is for. I don't use it a whole lot, but I should let you know that every member of my family has a vest like this, and I'll explain why in just a minute. All right, let me put this one over here. Now, to get into, oh, that's about to fall down, there we go. To get into some reasons why. Those are professional reasons why. Obviously, police officers, military personnel, they need armor because they face deadly threats all the time. But in addition to that, there's folks like I was a bail agent, a licensed bail agent in the state of California. In California, you're licensed under the Department of Insurance, and you write bail, which is essentially an insurance product, and then you have to go get the people who don't show up to jail and get them back to jail again, and that can be a dangerous process. I've done a lot of that. A lot of those are felony warrants for dangerous individuals, and I've done a lot of that too. So, like I said, I've had guns pointed at me, I've had people try to stab me, people try to hit me with blunt instruments and all kinds of things, and people wrestle with me that we've had to wrestle to the ground and handcuff and take into custody, just as a police officer would. But I wasn't a police officer, I was a civilian. I was a bail agent. Also in the security business, there's been times where I've faced violence. A security officer, at least in the state of California, and I assume throughout the state, is actually a civilian, but they need armor too. What about the guy who puts the money in the ATM so that you can draw it out and then draws out the money out of the ATM? That guy better, or gal, better be wearing body armor. How about the person who works late night at the liquor store? Might want to be wearing body armor. These are many reasons why people will need body armor for professional purposes at work. Now, in addition to that, body armor also covers some other things regarding the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment arguably is there for a few purposes, but one of those is so that we can defend our country. We can help do that in times of trouble or in times of civil unrest. We can defend ourselves. We can also defend ourselves against a tyrannical government. Well, in today's world, it's a lot easier to do that if you have body armor. If the government has body armor and you don't have body armor and you're trying to defend yourself against a tyrannical government, you're already up against you're in trouble because they've got an edge on you. They have an edge on you anyway. They really have an edge on you when they have body armor and you don't. Here's the other thing. If you happen to be a person who receives threats on a regular basis, whether that's because you're a YouTuber or you're a public person or whatever, and you're not rich enough to go down and buy an armored vehicle and drive around in your armored Mercedes that looks like a regular Mercedes but will stop rifle rounds, you might want to have body armor, particularly if people are threatening your life. So there's lots of reasons to have body armor. Now, you might think that the reasons I just listed, the Second Amendment stuff and like that, that's nuts. And you might say, well, you know, gun guy, you're getting off the rails here and you're completely losing your mind. No, I don't think so. But even if you think that way, let me show you some body armor. I've shown you the professional stuff. Let me show you some body armor that civilians might use, and indeed civilians do use. Here you go. This is a ballistic panel, and it's soft body armor. These run $100, depending on where you get them, maybe a little more. Depends on the company you get them from. And they're level 3A. These will stop pistol rounds all day long. I mean, you know, you stop a bunch of them. I've taken these and tested them many times. Not for YouTube, unfortunately, but I have tested them for work to see if we like the particular manufacturer. I have yet to find one that won't stop a .44 Magnum. They all will. I've tested them with just about every kind of pistol that I could come up with, up to and including .44 Magnums, and they stop them. Well, this is very inexpensive and it fits very neatly in a laptop case. As a matter of fact, I took this one out of my laptop case so I could show it to you. This fits in my laptop case. And like most business owners, I've got my laptop or tablet with me just about everywhere I go. So if you've got one that fits in your tablet case or fits in your laptop case, it gives you a small piece of armor. Now this is fairly good size, as you can see, that you can hold up in front of you if you're trying to get away or you're facing a threat that is at least going to provide you some protection from pistol rounds. Here's the problem that we face in public and at work. There is nothing in your office environment that's going to stop a bullet. Not your office door, not the walls around your office, not your office machinery, not your desk chair, your computer, the copier. None of that is going to stop a bullet. Bullets are going to whistle through all of those things and get you. You might want to have some kind of body armor in case somebody comes in angry and wants to shoot up your office. Well, this is a way to do it. Likewise, these fit brilliantly in a kid's backpack when they go to school, and it weighs next to nothing. I mean, it's less than 1/3 the weight or 1/4 the weight of your average 500-pound textbook that kids have to carry around now. It doesn't weigh hardly anything, but it provides pistol level protection in a form of a backpack. So, rifle, it's not going to help, but certainly if somebody shows up to shoot up a school, or they're going to shoot at your child and they've got a handgun and your child is running away with their backpack on their back, they've got a better chance of surviving if they've got something like this. And so that you know, I've run into a lot of parents who buy this kind of body armor for their kids. As the politicians would say, it's for the children. And yet, guys like Senator Chuck Schumer want to ban it. Well, that's soft body armor. Then you've got products like this. Now, I don't know if this company's still making these or not. I hope so. I don't know how well they were selling, but I really like the idea. This is a stadium chair. It was produced by a company called Practical Protection, I think. And it's got some very serious body armor in it. Now, it's puffy and it's bulky, and that's because it's a chair. So in addition to the body armor, it's also got padding so you can sit on it. And frankly, I find it very comfortable. They sent me one to test. I'll put a link in the description. I actually did a video on it, and I tested this product. Now, one side of the product, the part you sit on, is just soft body armor like this panel. It will stop handgun rounds up to 44 Magnum. It will not stop rifle rounds, but you don't want to put a plate on it because you got to sit on it, and it would be horribly uncomfortable. So that side stops pistol rounds, but the back that you lean up against has that soft body armor, the padding for your back, and a plate. These will stop 308s, 30-06s. I took the one they sent me, I took it out and I used the pistol side and I shot it. I didn't have a 44 Magnum, I had a 357 Magnum. I shot it with buffalo bore ammunition out of a 357 Magnum, and it stopped it without any problem at all. The plate, the ceramic plate, I shot it with a 5.56, 7.62 by 39 out of an AK and a 308 out of my deer rifle, and then took it apart to show you what it did to the ceramics. It stopped all three without any problem. This is a great product. And even if they don't make them anymore, they're not hard to make. It wouldn't be difficult to fabricate something like this. So it's a chair this way, but when you take the clips apart and put it over your head and tighten up these, it becomes a vest. And you can decide, am I running away or am I running toward the danger? If I'm running away, I might want to have this rifle plate on the back. If I'm running toward the danger, I might want to have the rifle plate on the front. When I tested these and found out they were outstanding, I ordered one for every member of my family. When we go to the ball game, we're basketball fans and like that, we go to the ball game, we take these with us and we sit on them because they're stadium chairs. They're a lot more comfortable than the concrete seat or the stadium seat. So we take these, and then if something happens, we can either, if we have to, we pick it up and put it in front of us, but if we have time to put it on, now we have some armor while we're trying to get away. This is important stuff. My wife is a speech and language pathologist and works at I started to say hospital, that too at one point, but not recently. She works at a school. Well, she's in a high school. In California, you can't take a firearm or any kind of defensive weapon to school. But you can take this, and so she does. She has one of these, she takes it to school. And, we stick one of these in her laptop case in addition to that. So she's got a couple different ways to protect herself because nothing in the school is going to stop a bullet as far as the buildings are concerned or the office equipment. It's the same as your office. So if she has to hide in a room with her students, isn't it better if she has some armor on her? She's better at protecting her students and so on. After all, what do we teach people? We teach them run, hide, fight in the civilian environment. Well, run where? Hide behind what? There's nothing around that's going to stop a bullet. Fight with what? Your scissors, your stapler, or whatever? Okay, if you have armor and you're running, you have a higher chance of survival. If you have armor and you're hiding behind an object which is giving you concealment but no protection at all, if somebody shoots at that object and you have armor, at least you have some protection, you have a higher chance of surviving. If you're going to fight and all you have is a pair of scissors or a chair or a fire extinguisher or whatever, some blunt object, you have to cross the distance between you and that shooter. you're liable to get shot. If you have body armor, you have a better chance of actually succeeding in crossing that distance and winning that fight. There have been people killed trying to defend children in schools because they tried to cross that distance and they got shot along the way. And we've hailed them as heroes, and that's all wonderful and fine and dandy, but they're dead. So I want to explain this to you because body armor should not be banned. I understand why they want to ban it. I get it. They want to ban it because, you know, people show up, these nuts show up and shoot up places, and they buy body armor and they wear body armor when they get there, and it makes it harder for the police to stop them. I understand. But at the same time, you're trying to take away our ways of defending ourselves with firearms. You want to take away our ways of protecting our bodies with body armor? When we're faced with people wearing body armor with guns, that makes no sense. And oh, by the way, the people who are trying to do that, the senators, Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, and so on, these are extremely uber wealthy people. These are elites of elites. These people have security with them all the time. When they're working at the Senate or the House, they're surrounded by police officers, Capitol Police. Speaker Pelosi has Secret Service protection because she's the Speaker of the House. She's third in line to the presidency. These people can ride around in armored cars that look just as nice as your Mercedes or whatever you're driving, but they'll stop rifle rounds. I don't know about you. I cannot afford that. I know people right now who work in office environments, hang on a second, who buy vests like this with rifle plates in them, and they just keep them in the office. Keep them under their desk or whatever. Because that way, if somebody shows up to the office mad and they start hearing rounds go off and they have a chance, they'll put the thing on. If they don't have a chance to put it on, at least they can hold it up in front of themselves as they run, or as they come out of the door, or whatever the case might be. But they have a chance. It's an investment in your security, in your safety, that you otherwise will not have, particularly if the government wants to ban it. So I urge you, if you are a state official, sometimes state officials care about the people they represent, and sometimes arguably they just don't. They care about their own wallets, their own power, and their own position, and that's all they care about. They don't care about anybody else, and that's the truth of it. But if you're a public official and you care about people, I want you to understand from the standpoint of a man who's worn armor professionally for years and years and years and faced deadly threats while wearing armor and been very glad to be wearing it, that civilians need these products. Whether it's the professional version or it's versions like this that can protect their children and protect them in public places where they otherwise have no ability to protect themselves. Many public places, I don't care if you're in a state where you're allowed to carry constitutionally, will not allow you to bring a gun. You may have a concealed carry permit or live in a constitutional carry state, but the company you work for won't let you bring a gun to work. Wouldn't it be nice if you could bring some type of body armor and just leave it at work so when you got there you knew you at least had that? But Senator Schumer wants to take that away. Likewise, if you're that person who's thinking to yourself, people don't really need that, that stuff should be banned, I hope this video has helped you understand that you need it. You don't think you do, but you do. I'm of the opinion that every law-abiding citizen of this country needs body armor. They should have body armor. So I just want to, the whole goal of this video was to, one, inform you, educate you if necessary, and to encourage you, get yourself some body armor before they ban it. I'm not trying to create a run on body armor, but at the same time, I want you to understand that this stuff could save your life, your family's life, your children's lives if you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. A shirt does not stop a bullet. A wall does not stop a bullet. Maybe a block wall, but maybe. Your office chair is not going to stop a bullet. Your office desk is not going to stop a bullet. Your office machinery is not going to stop a bullet. Nothing in very, very few things in public create any level of protection against bullets at all, just so that you know. I hope this has helped. I urge you to share this video so that other people understand the usefulness of body armor and why civilians need it, because it's a product that they absolutely do really need, and not just because they're preppers or for when the world ends or whatever, but I mean on a daily basis. If you happen to work anywhere where somebody might show up mad and shoot up the place, you want to have some level of protection so that you can get out, even if what you're doing is just running away. If you're running away, you're liable to get shot at. You want to have some body armor. If you're fighting, you're going to get shot at. You want to have some body armor. If you're hiding, you're liable to get shot at. You want to have some body armor. It doesn't matter. Run, hide, fight. This is what you need. All right, there you go. Now, disclaimer here, I do not make any money off the sale of body armor. I'm not trying to sell you body armor. I'm trying to educate you and inform you. That's it. So I'm not making any money by you buying body armor. Find the company that you like the best, do some research on reviews or whatever, get what you can afford and get yourself behind something that can save your life. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and please be safe.